The meeting's come to order.
I'll make a motion to reorganize with Ron Stack serving as chair of the board.
All in favor?
We need a second.
I'll second it.
And then we need to know if there are any other nominations.
Are there any other?
Seeing none.
I can't say anything.
Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed?
Ron, congratulations.
Thanks.
You're the man who wears the crown now.
Oh, no.
So now you're running the meeting.
Okay.
Do you want me to help you out a little bit?
So we need a treasurer and a secretary.
So, we need to have a treasurer for our committee.
I'll nominate Christine Sheldon as treasurer.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
You have to ask if
Or-
anybody
that's
else
right.
wants to be treasurer.
Does anybody else want to be treasurer?
Seeing none,
Seeing none, all those in favor?
signify by
Aye.
saying
Aye.
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 Opposed, nay.
Any nays? Any abstaining? The ayes have it. And we need a secretary.
I nominate Seal Hunt as secretary.
I'll second.
Any other people nominated? Seeing that there aren't any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The ayes have it.
Okay, I nominated Chris by Seal and Judy. It was Seal and Chris that did Ron, and Chris and Judy that did Seal.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's, Ron, what's your full name?
Ronald G. Stack.
That's important. Every time when we reorganize, we have to have everyone's legal name.
Yep.
Okey dokey.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Okay, that's out here, and
Secretary's report first?
Yeah.
you want secretary's report first?
Secretary's report first. Did everybody read the minutes from last month?
I move that we accept the secretary's minutes from March 5th.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Accepting? Any opposed? Any abstaining? We'll accept the treasury, or the secretary's report.
Treasurers.
No, that was secretaries.
That was
Oh, right, right,
Treasurers.
okay, I got it.
I move that we accept the treasurer's report as written.
And,
It has to be seconded, and then we can discuss it.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion?
a gentleman from M&T Bank called me. He's in charge of government municipal accounts. And he found that last summer's was never actually put in to get the interest. So he reinstated that back to whatever the date was, and we got $700.
That's good.
And I said, can you email me so I have your contact? And he did. And he is hoping to stop by the library at some point and meet people.
So Diamond,
I have heard nothing from Diamond.
So we have a
I've-
new person.
I've heard from this Michael somebody, and he was the one that got us this last time. And then this new guy, I knew his name, but now I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He reached out to me, and
Well, thank goodness they found it.
yeah.
yeah, and he's, I guess, going to be my contact. He said either him or this Michael guy would be all right. And so that was good. He called me on the phone.
Guess we're gonna have to,
Well, I did check up on all
that's
that.
what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought so, because we always, we'll take
Yeah,
the $700.
I don't know, let me see. So anyway, and I reached out to Amy and told her, and sent her his email, so she's got that. And,
Is that in this, was as of March?
I think so, but I
Okay.
don't know for sure.
Okay.
Because she sent me two of these online, and then the one that comes to Carol, and, I'm just gonna see if I flagged that guy, but I didn't. Well, later in the meeting, while we're talking, I'll look it up so I can give you his name. But he assured me that all of our CDs were appropriate at this point.
Okay.
Good.
So they must have just made an error and didn't,
I think that Diamond Spence was sick. And this, Michael took it over, but remember last summer, they told me there were no,
right,
offerings,
Right.
and that we had to wait.
yeah,
And then I reached out to her, and she told me what the offerings were, and I said, well, we want that, and then that must have never happened.
happened, yeah.
She wasn't good at responding,
Following through.
yeah. And obviously, this guy is better, so. Okay,
Anything else of,
I don't have anything else.
All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Librarians report.
Librarians report, okay. So we were open for
Get a copy of that.
20
I might have-
days this month. And I was out for 16 hours. Our circulation total was 701, 529 in library, 87 hoopla, and 85 for overdrive, which is a little less for overdrive than it was. Interlibrary loans, we got 9 for our patrons. We sent out 39 to other patrons. We haven't done overdues. New acquisitions, we had 44. Weeded books, 189. Adult fiction. Karen is still helping with the weeding, and we're in the nonfiction room now, working on that. Adult residents that got cards, 5 did, and 2 adult non-residents got cards. Internet use, 20 on our public access computers, 13 on our Wi-Fi inside the building. The petty cash is there. We have $138 right now. Volunteer hours for the month, 131. Turn the page if your cold hands can do that.
I know, it
It's
is
cold down here.
chilly.
Genealogy Club met on March 7th. 7 people attended. They were having a great time down here. This couple, well, yes, it was a couple, came in and to ask me about stuff in the Vermont room. And I said, well, they thought some relative had been, had lived here. And I said, well, did they die here? Well, we think so. And I said, well, I'm not really sure what to get you out for books. So I said, but the genealogy club is downstairs. And they were so happy. They came upstairs after because all the 5 other people that were down here all started working on their questions.
Wow.
So they got lots of information, and interestingly enough, the person they were looking for lived on Pelkey Avenue.
Oh, wow. By your
And so
house.
Danny said, well, Carol lives on that street. And so it was in Scott and Jen's house,
Oh, wow.
way back.
Clemens, yeah.
which was
Wow.
really interesting. So they went away very, very happy. So
Do you get a lot of those requests? I know I just got one today from the Historical Society. People write me all the time,
asking for,
or where they're buried, but they know they died here and are
right,
buried
and sometimes they want to
because
go
we
to
do
the
have those
cemetery,
books.
they want to find the cemetery
Right.
plot, go there, take a picture of it, or when the people left, they went straight to Pelkey Avenue and took a picture of Scott and Jen's house.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So, so that was kind of fun. So I think that's a nice, I'm glad we have genealogy still meeting once a month. You know, she did that class for 9 weeks, was it 9 weeks? And then, went on to once a month.
Oh,
Art Club used the Hyde Room on March 3rd. 10 people came. 7 book club members met on Zoom to talk about Sisters of Fortune, which was a Titanic story. Friends of the Library had a book sale on March 1st. They made $117.
That's pretty good.
Yep, that wasn't bad. J.P. Murphy Band put on a wonderful show on Thursday, March 13th. 30 people attended. Not a good turnout. I mean, I think in all my years here, that's the worst turnout we've ever had for an
Yeah,
Irish program. So disappointing.
I really believe not having the paper come to everyone's door
Makes a difference.
makes a huge difference. And I sent it to,
You mean the free press?
the free
Yeah.
press.
Yeah,
Because they used to put it right
right.
on
It'd be
the front page, so
and- yeah.
everybody knew about it, and we're putting it out to all the, we're putting it out to all the publications and on Facebook and other things. It's just, I think that people,
But I talked to some of the other libraries, and they're saying their program attendance has not been good as well.
Don't you think the amount of COVID and flu that's been around, that there's a certain number of people that are saying, I'm not going to public events?
Yeah, I think some people, yeah.
there's been a lot of sickness.
And plus, I mean, I think there's so many sports things, you know, that people are just going in so many directions that
I did talk to people who said, oh my gosh, I forgot all about
I
it.
forgot. Yeah.
Well, and we've got to get back where people are thinking about library programs.
Right.
It used to be everybody assumed that was happening in March.
Right.
And it hasn't happened for a few years. So I guess we have to build it back up again.
Yeah, well, and I think we are rebuilding after COVID, but that really took a toll on everything. The Roman Gnome visited the library the week of March 11th. Joanne Riley won the opportunity to shop our book sale books and fill a bag. So she
was very excited.
Yeah, she looked at everything. She filled her bag. She seemed very happy. The apron raffle that the friends were doing was pulled on March 17th. Kathy won.
Yep.
But I have to say, Kathy re-gifted the apron to Joy, because Joy really likes to cook, and Joy was thrilled. She made Kathy take a picture of her wearing the apron. The project raised about $100 for the friends.
Yeah, we sold a lot of tickets that night. 30 people came, but
Yeah.
we made money.
The take and make for March was a Shamrock Mobile. 54 were distributed. We received many donations in memory of Les Johnson. Seal sent the thank you notes and notified the family of the donations. And I have here, I purchased this book in memory of Les. It's This Day in History for Kids from the History Channel. And it has a book plate inside of it that has his name on it and the month. And it's really kind of cute. It has a lot of different things, and I felt really good because I put it there for them to fix it. And Mary Kay said, this is the perfect book for Les, and she knew him better than I did. So I was pleased that she was happy with it. So anybody can look at that if they want. This one I don't know if I can even lift. This is The Complete Gardener. It's a beautiful gardening book with lots of really neat pictures in it. And this is in memory of Marie Aitchison. Now, Les was on our library board for quite a few years, and the donations came here. Marie was a library volunteer for a lot of years. So those are the 2 books that we got in memory of them. Let's see. Oh, well, we're giving out COVID tests again. They're upstairs. They're, I don't know, they might have just expired or they're close to expiration, but the time has been, you can use them for longer. This year, so far, we've given out 138 COVID tests. You wouldn't think that, but we have.
Well, you have to use, if you have it, you have to test once, then you test again, and then, you might use 2
Until you
sets.
Yeah,
Right, that's
until you
right,
test
because
negative.
they come 2 to a
Right.
box.
Yeah.
And, yep, you would need that.
Nice.
And you don't want people paying if they don't. I mean,
They
they're
don't have to.
expensive.
Mhm.
So, Danny called on Saturday, March 22nd. She was vacuuming in the reading room upstairs, which has plugs in the floor,
Right.
and she had it plugged into the floor, and then the plug started sparking.
Ooh.
And so she got really nervous, so she called up, and Carl went down with his tools, and he is not a fan of those in the floor
No.
plugs. But in that room, it's helpful because people sit at the table and use their computers. But I have to say, they used to have covers over them, and along the way, someone that took the covers off and didn't keep them. So they don't have any covers over them. And he said, you know, you can get water in there and dirt in there. So he cleaned it out. And he didn't know, and Ron, maybe you know the answer to this, should they be GFIs now?
If they can get water in them, they probably should be GFIs.
Yeah. See,
I don't
that's,
know if you can actually have that way or not.
Is that
Right.
grounding?
they're grounded, but GFIs are water, so that
batteries.
it's,
If
yeah,
any water gets in there, they
turn
trip.
off.
When all you've got is muddy boots.
Right, people
Right.
walking through, and I mean, I think to have the covers on them would be helpful. But so anyway, and we also, I don't know if you've noticed, we have a finicky light outside. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, and then
Yeah, I
like
thought it was
Danny,
fixed.
yeah, Danny said to me, "Oh, the light got fixed." No, it's doing its own thing. So Carl looked at that briefly and said, you know, it might be time to buy new fixtures there because they're looking really tired. And we, a while ago,
On the side.
yeah,
Is that the front?
the side,
Side.
the door we
As you're
use.
coming in on the
Main
left-hand
entrance.
side.
Yes, the main entrance. Because we put new ones out front a few years ago.
Because
and
Brad was saying one of those was blinking or something, but maybe he meant this one.
It's this one. And so he said he hasn't gotten up there with a ladder, and maybe it's just the light bulb's loose, but he thought it might be worthwhile for us to have Dan Gray come to look at the floor and to look at that
We had those floor outlets at the high
at
school.
school. Yeah,
We did too at the school.
And they were difficult.
yeah. We've never had any trouble, but so then Danny's vacuum wouldn't work anymore. And Carl looked at the plug, and the plug was fried. So he went and got a new plug, and he put that on, and he said, well, no news is good news. Danny didn't call this weekend, and she vacuumed, so it must have worked. So,
So when Dan comes here, should he look at those plugs and is
he
there
should
some way
look
we
at
can
the front
put a
room.
new one in with a cover on it?
He should look at the front room and see what he recommends that we do for that. And then,
The other thing that could be done is they make those GFI breakers for like bedrooms and stuff that you could probably switch that out for wherever that's tied into.
yeah,
It would trip just like a regular GFI would.
well, yeah, he went to turn the breaker off, Carl did, and he goes, well, I was going to leave it off. Then he said, I realized it's hooked to your computer in your cubby. So he said, I knew I had to turn it back on, but I think it's a good idea if we have Dan look at it.
Yep.
I mean, Dan's official.
We don't want the place to,
No, we certainly don't. And Danny didn't want to leave because it was smoking, and so she was nervous.
Yeah.
So, I renewed our protection on the 3 Dell computers. I think you'd see it in it was $279 or something like
And I
that.
noticed the computer number went up.
Yeah. But it's for 2 more years. Those computers are 3 years old. They were coming off their protection. Given that it's going to be a new person, I thought it was worthwhile to pay the money and get it extended. So I did that. I want to replace the work computer behind the desk. I said to Carl, I think that computer's 10 years old. And he came down tonight and looked, and he goes, well, you got things from 2011, so I'd say it's closer to 13 or 14 years old. And that's I don't want somebody new to have to deal with that because it's been finicky lately, and Carl got it going again, but it's gotta work better than that,
That's
so.
the one behind the desk?
It's the computer behind the desk.
You
And
use it every
actually,
day. You use it every day.
we use it all the time. And not just me, it's the volunteers that use that computer, so it's gotta be kind of working right. The federal library grants for, you heard me say this upstairs, Chris, summer reading and courier are what our library would be affected by, given that, the grants have been cut. So the summer reading grant is like $350. The courier grant is about $700, and we just got our courier grant for this year, so this would be the one for next year. So I still say courier, now for me to go to the post office and mail a book, it's $5.11 per book. Courier right now costs us $27 a week. It'll double though if
We don't get
if
the-
we don't get the grant money, but it's still
Cheaper.
worthwhile. Yeah, it's still
And
cheaper.
they come to your door.
Right, we don't have to be going, so it's just something to keep in mind. I think Seal got something on our grant opportunities.
Yeah, it's a dim view of what's happening in Washington in terms of federal grants for communities. They, it hasn't passed yet. They're still in
Limbo.
limbo.
Everybody's
They have
in limbo.
no, they've cut so many things that are going to start really trickling down to us in terms of even employees.
Right. And that's for the state. The state
Because they've cut-
Department of Libraries, and, part of that is federally funded.
Right.
So, we're gonna have a new person who wants to take those courses. I'm not even sure how that's gonna go, looking ahead right now. It's so up in the air.
Well, I know that they've cut funding for the Vermont Historical Society. They've reduced it for a lot of folks, and froze funding, and I'm sure it's the same at the Department of Libraries, so. Yeah, people are wondering how long they're going to have a job.
Right. The sprinkler, I haven't heard anything from anybody.
We have an appointment.
Oh,
set
good.
For the 22nd of this month.
Okay.
At 10 a.m.
Earth Day.
Okay, what day's that on?
It's a Tuesday.
Okay, good. That's great.
It's Earth Day.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay. That's really good. I'll put that on the calendar upstairs.
What's the name of that company again, do you remember?
Green Mountain Sprinkler, I believe
Yeah.
it is.
And they're in Milton, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were both up north. Mountain.
And that is all I have, aside from moving on, which is an executive session issue.
Yeah.
Give these to
I
Carol.
move we go into executive session to include the board on a personnel matter.
Do I get to stay or go?
No, you go.
I go, okay.
Well,
Do I have to second that?
yeah, somebody needs to second it.
Second it?